of April 2025. My name is Alexis Jeffers, and of course it is always my pleasure being here on a Friday afternoon to spend my lunch hour between 1 and 2 p.m. with you. And as always, this is Von Radio, the Caribbean's only powerhouse, and who better you'd want to team up with to bring a program such as this. And that is why it's always my pleasure to come and to impart whatever I have to impart, and also bring new information to you as well. Today we have a guest with us, but I will get to my guest shortly. But of course, at the start of the program, we normally go through some formalities in terms of expressing condolences and congratulations and best wishes to persons who are celebrating and the likes. So let me start by expressing condolences to all of the grieving families out there. Of course, over in the St. James area, we've had a number of persons who would have gone to the great beyond, and I just want to express my sympathies to the families that are grieving. I want to start with the family, the surviving families of Mrs. Lavina Woodley Daniel, who would have passed away last week, and she was a member of the St. James Anglican Church. Of course, she was from Butlers, community that we all embrace, and of course I want to express my sympathies to all of the family members. Of course, Mackenzie Daniel, those of us who would have gone to Gingerland High School would recall Mackenzie Daniel, of course, an athlete and sportsman in general. And Mackenzie, wherever you are, if you're here on the island already, I want to express my sympathies to you. Of course, grandchildren such as Carla Glasgow, and Judy Morton, the wife of, well, we call him Sandopi, but Curtis Morton, of course, and all of the other family members who we know. We want to just say we are with you at this difficult time, and of course, God's blessings to you as you continue to go through these period of mourning. I also want to express sympathies to the family members of Virginia Hendrickson. And before I leave Lavina, she was, I believe, 96, so she would have lived for quite some time, a ripe old age of 96 or 97 thereabout, or she should have been 97 this year if she would have survived. But that is a long time to live. And when we say over in the east, because we are getting all those fresh breeze off the ocean over there in Butlers and Brickhill, people tend to live for a very long time. So those of you who are living in Charlestown and you want to live for a long time, but God will provide all of the years that He would provide to you. But this is just to tell you, many persons have survived for a long time over in that area. So come on over and get the fresh breeze and the ambience that is over there, so that you can sustain yourself. I also was going on to Virginia Hendrickson. I want to say to the entire family over there in Butlers and in St. Kitts as well, all sympathies to you. Of course, I can name out Puff, those of you who know Puff, those of you know persons like Avanel and Cressy, and those persons over there who are bereaved at this time, the whole family. You will hear all of the names right here on Von Radio when the full obituary notices are given, but I just wanted to register that, so those who would have heard of her passing or have not heard, at least I'm letting you know. She was also in her 90s, I believe 96 or thereabout as well, and that is why I say over on that side we live for quite a long time, and most of the centenarians would have come from the St. James area, but most of Butlers or Brickhill. Last Sunday evening, we would have learnt of the passing of Glorita Vaughan. That is the mother of Gillian Vaughan and Olan Vaughan, and she passed away last Sunday evening, and we were there to lend support to those who would have gathered there, and all of us would have spent some time there trying to console the family members, because it was a difficult time, still a difficult time. And Gillian and Oland, I want to express sympathies on behalf of myself and the entire Nevision community, because everyone here in Nevis, or most persons here in Nevis, would know of Gillian. Gillian currently works there at Inland Revenue, and she has a melodious voice and always singing the various concerts, gatherings and so forth. Olan is an architect and also a musician. Sometimes you go to some of these funeral services, he's there playing the piano or the organ, and he's a staple at most of these funerals, playing music. So I also want to mention Sinovia Vaughn, the granddaughter of Glorita and the daughter of Gillian. So all of you who are grieving in that family, I want to express my sympathies on behalf of myself and all of us here at Von Radio. Of course, yesterday we would have gone to the funeral of Mr. Oscar Jeffers. We would have mentioned his name before, and indeed the surviving family are here on the island of Nevis. I want to express my sympathies, and God is always in the midst, and He'll provide the comfort as you go through this period, of course. Indeed, anyone else who are in the bereaved column, I want to express my sympathies. Indeed, where there is death, there is also happiness. But before I go to that, I just recall that I must mention Iola Jeffers, who is recovering at this point in time. Iola is up there in Fountain. Iola, best wishes to you, and take your time with your recovery, and of course all that you're advised to do by your doctors, you do that, and I'm certain you'll be back on your feet again in short order. And anyone else who are infirmed at the Alexandra Hospital as well, I say get well wishes to you. So once there is that, there is also time to celebrate, and there are persons out there who are celebrating at this time, and I want to express best wishes to those who are celebrating a birthday, anniversary. I can think of this is a belated birthday greetings though, and I did tell my good friend there, Violet Baby Perkins over there in Barnaby, she would have celebrated her birthday last Sunday, Easter Sunday, and it was such a joy to see the entire family come out and support their mom, their grandmother, a great-grandmother. It was a celebration over there at the St. James Anglican Church. And so, baby, you told me that you normally listen on a Friday, and I want to thank you for lending a listening ear to this program on a Friday. I want to say it is an immense pleasure always to be in your company and to celebrate with you. And so we would have seen persons like Plug Eye Perkins would have come. Those of you who know Plug Eye, that's a baby's son. He operates Islander Water Sport, of course, of Bully, Surpriser, who is a taxi operator. We know of Sandra, she was down there at the Evelyn's drugstore for many years. We know of Leah Perkins, who works at TDC and was in the airline industry at some point in time. We know of Tringy, who is a contractor, mason, carpenter, the whole works. He's a jack of all trade. Of course, we know of Dan, who would have worked down there at Nisbet Plantation, now work over there at the Rocks. And there's a reason why I'm calling these names. Starker, who is working down there at Four Seasons, and also the priest in charge over there, pastor in charge of the Rehoboth church over there in Libert Hill. I am calling these names because these are the products of Baby and Thomas Perkins, the father, husband, who is now deceased. But of course, it's a solid family, and I really wanted to mention their names because Baby must know that these persons or her children continue to make significant contribution to the island of Nevis in every possible field, and that is why I'm mentioning their name. There's Vincent, who is Plug Eye, Sandra, Chet, Bully, Surpriser, Tringy, Stark, and Dan. Listen, we know I'm calling these persons by their nicknames because that is how they prefer to be called, and that's how we know them in this our small community. Myself, well, my name is Zook too, and I love my nickname, so that's not a problem. So we don't fuss over these things. Okay, fine. So, baby, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I know you would have had a wonderful birthday, and it was double celebration, meaning your birthday and also Easter Sunday, which is a sacred day in the Anglican faith. Moving along, I want to express also belated birthday greetings to Gladys We said Gladys Pepper France. Her birthday was yesterday. I went up there and looked up Gladys, and she was in good spirit, very happy. And every day you spend on Gladys is a joy, and you normally have, you know, at least you have fun every day as far as I'm concerned. But we know Gladys have been in the folklore industry and performing in various bands here on the island of Nevis, and it's good to still have Gladys with us, and Gladys is one who is still filled with vim, vigor and vitality, and I want to continue to express best wishes to you, Gladys, and that you'll continue to make your contribution. That's the mom of Mackie France and what's her name now, my good friend there. You know, anyway, listen, if I forget anyone, forgive me, but Coretta France, and I want you all to figure out who is Coretta. But before you figure it out and waste time on that, I'll say Finey. Works down there at TDC. Okay, good. So Gladys, may God bless you with many more years of celebrations. Huh? Okay, moving right along. Mother's Day. I would have heard the Honorable Eric Evelyn mention this on Wednesday evening. I also want to mention as well that the Concerned Citizens Movement will have a huge Mother's Day fun day down there at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park on the 11th of May. That is Sunday the 11th of May. And of course you'll hear much more about that. There will be advertisement out there. There'll be things on Facebook, YouTube and the likes. But those of you who normally would plan ahead of time, just put that in your calendar that Sunday the 11th of May will be a huge Mother's Day fun day down there at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, put on by the Concerned Citizens Movement. And I'm already getting my apron and my chef jacket and coat and everything to provide some services down there so that I can cook or barbecue or serve or do whatever they like for our mothers. They will be pampered on that day. There'll be kids activity as well, or children activities, and all of the fathers who want to come along and help can do so as well. I also want to put in a plug for tomorrow, I believe, not tomorrow, Sunday. Let me get it right, Sunday, and I'll find it here quickly. Sunday will be the Nevis 5-Star Parish Relay. This is the second hosting. The brainchild of this is Mr. McClevin McIntyre. He will be putting on this activity once again. And when we say 5-Star Parish Relay, all 5 parishes here on the island of Nevis will be involved. St. James, St. Thomas Parish, St. Paul's, St. John's and St. George's. I can't recall who was the winner last year, but of course this year everyone will be vying to be champion this year. So that will be on Sunday, this coming Sunday the 27th of April. And the time I have here, it starts at I believe it's let's see. Well, I'm looking at the poster, but I can't see the time. But anyway, it's Sunday. Oh, starting at 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. So that is the place to be. You go to church on a Sunday, and you get home, have your lunch, or you want to have lunch over at the athletic stadium, the Mundo Track as it's affectionately called. 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. you go on over and lend support to the athletes from the various parishes. Yeah. Okay. Quickly moving right along. The Trinity Methodist Church will have their 40th anniversary celebration on Sunday. So they're having a church service up there at Trinity Methodist Church in Fountain. Starts at 4 p.m. They are indicating that you would want to be there by at least 3:45 so that you can be seated, so they can have a prompt start at 4 p.m. So that is on Sunday the 27th of April up there at Fountain. The Trinity Methodist Church will have their 40th anniversary of their chapel. And so I am inviting one and all to be there on Sunday. If you're from Fountain, go out and support the community event. It is a community event because that's where the church is located. But if you're from anywhere else on the island, I'm inviting you over to Fountain to be a part of this particular event. It is a significant milestone of 40 years, and so that is what will happen on Sunday, the 27th of April, up there in Fountain at 4 p.m. And you, one and all, are invited to attend that event. Okay, quickly before I get to my guests, the Easter Cricket Extravaganza, which was put on over there at the VOJ grounds on Sunday last, that is Easter Sunday. I want to thank everyone for coming out to this event and adding to the flavor and the success of the Honorable Alexis Jeffers Easter Cricket Extravaganza. And so I want to just highlight the sponsors who would have contributed to this event. Islander Water Sports, of course, Grandson Trucking and Heavy Equipment, Essential Plus Pharmacy over there in Frigate Bay, the Finish Touch right here on Long Point Road, Tire World over there at Newcastle, that is just next to the airport, and Heinz Electrical and Equipment Services. Of course, those were the major sponsors. And indeed, I want to thank Wendell Micey Wallace and his entire team. It will be difficult to name the entire team because there are so many persons involved in this activity over there in terms of providing services in the bar and the kitchen and preparing the pitch and the grounds for this activity. I want to just say thank you to one and all, and those who are part of the Wendell Austin Wallace Cricket Academy who would have been a part of it. I want to also thank the teams that would have participated. Of course, the Guyanese select team out of St. Kitts and the Guyanese select team out of Nevis. Of course, in that match, the Guyanese select team out of Nevis would have prevailed and won that particular game. And then, of course, the St. Kitts senior select team played against the Nevis senior select team. The St. Kitts senior select team would have won that match. So let's put it this way. It was the Battle of the Narrows. One of the winning teams from Nevis would have taken the grand prize, and then the select team, the senior team out of St. Kitts would have won, so they would have taken the grand prize. So it was a split between the Narrows, okay? And I want to congratulate everyone who would have participated and contributed to this activity. I will have an official thank you note that will be posted on Facebook and also disseminated to all of the persons who would have contributed in whatever way towards the success of this particular activity. Now, I would want to spend the rest of the program to go into what we are about today, or the main part of this program. I know I would have spent some time and gotten some of these housekeeping matters out the way. There are a few more things to touch, but I'll leave them for another time and go to my guest now. As I said from the onset, I have with me a guest who is here for the first time in the studios of Von Radio. We'll be talking about the Van Samre International Airport enhancement or expansion or improvement project that is to take place later this year. But of course, we'll say where we are at with this particular project, and I want to introduce now to you, the Nevision public, and those who are listening at home and abroad, Mr. Dan Casal, who has been with us for a number of years with respect to this project. He'll introduce himself, and then we'll develop a discussion regarding the expansion or the contemplated or proposed expansion project of the Van Samre International Airport. Dan, good afternoon and welcome to Von Radio.
Oh, good afternoon.
Let the people know who you are.
Thank you very much for having me today. My name is Dan Casal. We belong to the consortium that was formed to take care of the project of the Van Samre expansion. And my first contact with Nevis was in 2015. We were coming out of the construction of the new Argyle Airport in St. Vincent, and just a year before we finished the new control towers and technical buildings in both Kingston and Montego Bay in Jamaica. So we were involved in all these projects, and we were called to take a look at the potential of development for the Vance Amory Airport. We did that, and we provided the Nevis Island administration with a report. It was a development report, and there we pointed out a number of options that we had for the airport. Some of them were more ambitious, some of them were more practical. So during the years, we kept working in all these options, and well, as you know, there was an impasse between 2020 and 2023 because of the pandemic, the COVID, but we never stopped really working on that. And I will say that Mr. Alec Jeffers never stopped working here in Nevis towards getting the development that the island requires. So in a few words, all the main objectives to develop the airport were established around 2023, approved, and then Perez Engineering Company signed a contract with administration, and we started the process of designing the whole airport development.
Right.
There was many objectives to get better in the airport. The main one, we can say, that was to define an expansion that allows Nevis to be in direct linkage with new markets that actually they cannot reach from here. That determined that we have to select a reference aircraft that we will operate in the airport. It was selected. It's the Embraer 175, and to provide the possibility that aircraft, together with all business jets that exist in the world, can operate here without limitations. This was the plan, and this is the goal, and this is what we're working for already for 2 years. And at this moment, we can say that the design is very advanced. In terms of the civil engineering, we have first some priorities. And the first one is that we have to do a realignment of the access road in the area of the airport.
Right.
Because we have to connect all these development lands that we need for developing the apron, the hangar, the cargo facility, the new facilities that need to be done, the fuel farm. They need to be done in order to operate this aircraft and all other aircrafts without limitations. Also, obviously, we have to reinforce and restore the pavement on the existing runway, and we will achieve that with a level of expansion to the east and a level of expansion to the west.
Okay.
It means that this aircraft, the jets and the Embraer 175 will be able to land without limitations, and they will be able to take off without limitations. That's why the expansion in both ends of the existing runway. It means that the taxiways, the strips, the safety strips, the aprons have to be also expanded and reconstructed. All that is included. This design is very well advanced, as well as one very important design, which is the drainage. As you know, as every Nevision knows, the water coming from the hills all end up in this area. So we have 9 different basins that are supplying all this storm water to the area of the airport. So the drainage, it's a very, very important item. And I can tell you today that we just finished the whole engineering design for the drainage. And it will guarantee that there is absolutely no problem for flooding or for interrupting the runway. So basically that's it. In the first priority or first phase is the reconstruction
Okay.
of the terminal.
Right. Okay. Before
Yeah.
we get to that, Dan, let's look at one by one. We'll
Yeah,
get to
sure.
each area that will be impacted by this development. You spoke about the road, the realignment of the Island Main Road, which is currently where it's at in front of business place like Tire World. What we are saying is that that area is going to be parking area. A parking area and apron will be there
Right.
eventually. So that road, if we were to just give the general public a general idea, will be moved from there and placed further south.
Right.
And of course, you can safely say that the design and costing and everything for that is complete.
It's complete, totally complete.
Totally complete. So just to give the general public a general idea, that section of road from the entrance to Mount Nevis, which is at the end of what we call Catalang Part, for ease of reference, that section of road that was not repaired when we did that major reconstruction of the Island Main Road from Cotton Ground up to Newcastle. Midway thereabout in that particular road, that's where the diversion will take place. And you're looking at what, about 900 meters of
Yeah.
road, and that would obviously include all of the different amenities, lighting, and so forth. So all that design is all done. And then the thinking is where that road reconnects to the Island Main Road, which is above the current parking lot for the airport. There'll be a roundabout in that general area, and if
Right.
persons are familiar with that area, there are some containers, some white containers in that area. A roundabout will be in that general vicinity,
Yeah.
which would take traffic into the parking areas and beyond, meaning going towards Newcastle.
Right.
So that is complete in terms of design, and in terms of the infrastructural upgrade. We're saying that we'll have extension of the current runway from 4,000 feet to approximately 6,070
Yeah,
feet.
right.
We're going towards the east and also to the west. So which means to the west you will of course have some impact on the ocean.
Yep.
So there'll be some work done on the western end of the runway. Persons have asked me about the road that takes person down towards Rift and those properties on the north of the airport itself. And of course, there will be a continuation of that road, the same road that I spoke about there, between Mount Nevis and the corner, heading towards the airport. That would continue at the back of the runway and reconnect to the old road that goes up towards what we call Pizza Beach, or Mount Nevis Pizza Beach. So at least that would be the access road for persons who live on the north. So we know that we are extending the runway. We know that with the extension of the runway, you can speak about what will be done to the runway and its surface and so forth,
Yeah.
because you are the technical person in that regard.
Yeah.
So you can.
No, we will.
So-
We've done a preliminary testing and research on the existing pavements, and some of the areas need to be reconstructed. Some of the areas need to be repaved because the granular elements of the asphalt that now are providing the runway surface, they are really not in good situation. So this is the one of the things that we did and we tested, and so the runway will be expanded and will be reconstructed.
Right.
The taxiways will be also reconstructed, and a new one will be provided in order to access the expansion for the what in the future will be the FBO, and the new hangar that will service all these business jets, as well as the parking location for the Embraer.
Okay. In terms of the taxiway, there will be one that will be used to enter the new parking area. The new apron will be constructed where you'll have the FBO, the hangar, and the customs building,
cargo.
all that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But there'll be an entrance and an exit.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So there is what we call a quick access taxiway.
Yeah.
Because it's in an angle, so the plane lands and quickly can enter the area. Actually, there are two taxiways that connect the existing platform, so those have to be fixed and have to be expanded to the code dimensions and strength of the pavement, and all that's included in the design. The airport will have a new airfield lighting with the process, but we will have to redo all the levels, and we will re-level the strips of the safety strip that are beside the runway that are required by code for the operation. So there will be no limitations in terms of the airfield to operate.
Right. Okay. Another component of the project that we can safely say is complete in terms of design is the fire station.
That's right. It's ready to start construction. All the architectural and structural design is done. We're working now into the mechanical and electrical. So it is ready to start as soon, because you have to remember, we have to demolish the existing station, which is in ruins.
Right.
And even though the airport and NASPA made an effort and created some kind of a temporary new facility to store the trucks, the fire trucks, there are a lot of needs for the fire fighting, and this is something that the airlines, when they operate an airport, that's the first thing they look at. How the airport is able to respond to any emergency and what's the category of that emergency. So we will comply with that, and also we will comply with all the requirements of the fire department that we are working with them in coordination in order to get the design they require. So those are the two first priorities, and we are ready. We are ready to start as soon as we can.
And of course, we've had some challenges in recent weeks with respect to, the fire tender that is there. And of course, in this overall project, we are including 2 brand new fire trucks in that upgrade that we anticipating, right? Okay, so we look at the control tower, and there will be some work done there.
The control tower actually structurally is sound. The structure is okay, but the exterior appearance of the tower and all the general things that are around it, it doesn't look good, to put it plainly. So we will reconstruct all the exterior, new cladding. We will analyze. It's something that we will do with the air traffic control and everything. We'll analyze the equipment they are using in order to require any improvements. So it will be redone. The control tower will be redone.
Okay. Let's move to the passenger terminal.
Yes.
Now, right?
Yes.
There's a significant amount of work that is anticipated.
It is.
Will get done in
Yeah.
the terminal itself.
Yes.
If you can just be specific in terms of what.
The terminal is a nice building. I mean, structurally it's okay. So all the steel structure there is sound. It's okay. But there are problems on the flow capacity when you start operating an aircraft like the Embraer. because it will provide you 70 passengers on arrivals and 70 passengers at the same time. So at least the terminal will be having 140 passengers there, and actually the baggage handling, the ticket counters, the spaces for security are not really in condition to work with that flow. So we will expand two bays, only two bays in east and two bays west. We will accommodate and reaccommodate all the baggage, all the hold rooms, and create the necessary spaces and conditions for the passengers, as well, obviously, as the systems. So, I mean, air conditioning, all the communication systems, the electronics that support all the operation. That is all included in this betterment of the terminal.
Okay, and we say we are extending the building to the east.
Yeah.
The eastern side of the building, is the arrival area.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And we have done something, or we are anticipating that something will be done about that, because
Interior, yes.
currently you have cargo that comes
Yes.
into that space,
Yeah.
as well as luggage or baggage that comes off of the aircraft.
Yeah.
And so we have moved forward and thinking ahead in terms of constructing a separate facility
Right.
to handle cargo,
Yeah.
so that you don't have that mixing and mingling of cargo and passenger,
Absolutely.
luggage and baggage all at the same time.
Yeah.
So we'll be constructing a brand new cargo facility,
Yes.
which will be on the southern side of the airport property.
Yeah, because the cargo creates an impact on the whole operation of the terminal. It's not only that all the parcels and the boxes have to remain in an area that's supposed to be for passengers.
Yeah.
Is that the public has to come and pick it up, and it creates a situation that when you have small planes only. It's bad, but still, I know the airport manages, but as soon as the traffic increases and the cargo increases, it's impossible to have this operation in the terminal building. So that's why we're providing the new cargo facility.
Well, I will say I've been at the airport on numerous occasions when persons have come to pick up their cargo, and they had to wait.
Yep.
To wait until passengers are checked and passengers leave that space,
Exactly.
that arrival area, to collect their cargo. So by moving ahead with a brand new facility just specifically for cargo, it therefore means there is some quick movement in and out for persons who come to pick up their cargo.
Absolutely.
And be on their way, so that there's no mixing and mingling, of course.
Yeah, the other thing is that that facility will be really accessible, and we will have parking, and
Right.
we will have public attention and spaces for that. That actually currently there are none. So
Right.
this is what we are trying to do, and separate two activities that in every airport in the world are separate.
Separate, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you said access. It will be right off the Island Main Road, straight into the
Yes.
facility, which
Yes.
makes it easy when it's all said and done. Okay, so west of the terminal building, or on the western side, which will be expanded as well, there is also, those who are familiar with the Van Samer International Airport would see those tanks.
Yes.
Those fuel tanks and
Yes.
so forth, which what is stored there, avgas and also jet fuel.
Yes, fuel, yes.
It is anticipated that we're moving away from that and having a
Right.
more upgraded and advanced and brand new facility,
Yeah,
a fuel
yeah,
farm,
yeah.
which will be on the southwestern side of the property when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
You can speak to that in terms of the impact and the amount of storage we'll have.
Absolutely, and not only that, is that according to international standards, those tanks are not by code.
Right.
The accepted international code for fuel tanks is that they have to be at least 100 meters, we're calling more than 300 feet, from any building.
Right.
So, they, as you know, they're close to the terminal, and when we expand, they will be closer. So, it's not only that.
Well,
it's,
the expansion would take you right into them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So we determine the location, and we have a design for the fuel farm that will be complete until the future development.
Right.
Even though now we are building just the first phase, because but it will be according to the requirements of the fuel for the new operation.
Okay. So in terms of capacity, we're looking at in terms of jet fuel and avgas. I believe the numbers are somewhere around 200,000
There, yes.
liters of
Yes.
of jet fuel and
Yeah, it's an improvement.
A huge
because
improvement.
because we always have to think that what we call a buffer of security in terms of any problem that happens that will interrupt the supply. The airport have to be able to serve the fuel with this safety amount. That's established by airport operations.
And throughout the aviation industry, fuel
Yeah.
is a huge revenue,
Well, that
Generator.
one of the biggest.
one of the biggest.
One of the biggest.
So, okay.
No, yeah. I mean, all our calculations in terms of revenue is that the operation of the airport will be able to support itself and even provide revenue to repay whatever was, financed for the development.
Right. And some of the potential for revenue generation.
Yeah. Well, we have the fuel, we have the landing fees, the parking fees for the aircraft. As soon as more aircraft operate in the airport, all those revenue will increase. We have the concessions that we're gonna put on the terminal building. We will study with the authority if they want to, for example, establish a parking fee for cars or not. So there are so many areas of revenue that can be, analyzed.
Right.
But what I tell you is that an airport is always a feasible investment.
Big business.
Yeah,
Once you
yeah.
have the traffic. Yeah.
Yeah, an airport it always provides enough revenue to pay for any investment that you do on it. Yeah.
I always say that that infrastructure, airport infrastructure, is the money or
Yeah.
revenue generator.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Currently at the Van Sammer International Airport, of course, a lot of the areas that can be exploited are non-existent because of the lack of infrastructure.
Yeah.
And so with this upgrade, you're anticipating that you'll have increased passengers, of course.
Yeah.
You'll have departure taxes, whatever it is.
Oh,
called,
yeah.
you
Airport
know.
taxes, yes.
And the more persons leaving, the more
Yeah.
money is to be made. You talk about the concession stand.
Yes, yes.
Persons buy duty-free items, cigarette, liquor, and other
Yeah.
items. And of course, those concession stand, food items and so forth. Indeed, there are rental fees to be paid by those who are operating within the airport
Absolutely.
terminal itself.
And the airlines have to
And the airlines-
pay their fees as well. So
Exactly. And in terms of persons arriving and have to depart the airport, the taxi operators and the whole
Everything.
likes would make money. But back to the specifics on the airport. In terms of workers now,
Yeah.
we anticipate with this upgrade there'll be a huge demand for additional workers in all areas, and some of the areas will
Absolutely, operations, apron, all the services, everybody working in the terminal. I mean, it's gonna be a significant improvement in terms of jobs
Right.
that the airport will require.
It's anticipated that with this brand new apron, expanded apron, because there'll be two aprons over there. The existing one, which will be rehabilitated or rebuilt or reinforced, that is on the north side of the terminal. Then this brand new apron, we're
Right.
anticipating parking of approximately how many jets, you think, business jets? The given time.
Well, we didn't. We have an approach to the parking. As soon as it is finished, the whole pavement design, we will provide the parking design as well. But we're talking about probably 30 to 50 at some point.
50, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and that will be a huge or massive improvement on what we currently can accommodate.
Yes.
Which is about 2 or 3 at any given time based on the size of the existing apron that is
That's a
open.
main limitation of the airport, which is no parking space, and the business that those business jets and other jets bring to the airport are huge. It's a huge amount of money. Yeah.
And then, of course, there will be a FBO, which is a fixed base operation, and fixed base operations are indeed a huge revenue generator as well.
Oh yeah.
So we anticipate that with that facility, at least that is what most persons or everyone who operate these business jets, they're looking for the convenience and the
Absolutely.
services that are provided. You can speak to that in terms
There,
of
there is no only parking. There is a service of the jet that
right.
they will pay for, because they bring their own jets. They will stay for a week or for 10 days or whatever the period of time it is. They want the aircraft to be serviced, and sometimes they will need not only service, they will maintenance.
Right.
So all these services are highly paid services, because they are specialized to a niche of users that they take care of their own planes a lot. So it's a business that this FBO service is blooming around the islands, everywhere, and around the world. It's a really exposure to what the new market is.
So when we look at what is happening throughout the Caribbean and beyond in terms of airport expansion and upgrade and so forth, it certainly makes sense that we proceed in that direction.
Absolutely.
Because if we can look around the region, of course, Anguilla, they're upgrading their facility.
It's a big project going on,
yeah. Barbuda would have had a new runway, and now they're thinking about a terminal.
Yeah.
Antigua itself is now seeking to reinforce or extend or do some rehabilitation of their runway, and I do believe that normally within a 10-year span you have to be doing some upgrade at some point. And then we can look at what is happening down in St. Vincent, which is a project you are involved in terms of how things have exploded down there. I mean, have you been following St. Vincent, what is going on?
Yes. Well, that's a big airport. That was a big project with a really large investment and a lot of work, to the point that we have a river flowing down the runway. So so I was pointing out the hydraulic and the drainage importance in this airport, because we will have to take care of all that water, and what we saw on the last big rain here was kind of amazing. The amount of water that runs in those, and I have to tell you, the system works. What is now works. So we will improve it, and all the expansion, we will provide the new conducts and the new culverts and all the requirements for the water to not be a problem. Yeah.
I will say though that I think the last heavy showers we had, I believe it was November last year.
Yeah, it was at the end of last year.
Yeah, and that gave you an idea as to what to anticipate into the future. Normally, it is said that over a 25 to 50 year period you have some major storm. And it is always good to plan accordingly in terms of, and that's what this project will try to solve. Some of the issues that we anticipate into the future.
But we filmed all the situation when it was happening. So we have a good idea, practical good idea, that the engineers have used for their design,
Right.
which, by the way, is finished, as I say.
Finish. Okay, good. And just to go back to Argyle, because since that construction and operation, I've seen quite a number of airlines that have gone into
Yes,
St. Vincent,
Yes.
and that has certainly brought some notoriety to St. Vincent. And that is why I'm saying that it's a no-brainer when it comes to Nevis, because I will say to you, Dan, that we spend a lot of money annually to promote the island of Nevis. And in terms of the returns, there have been some returns, but I don't think we are capturing all of the returns that we should get
Absolutely.
as an island in terms of the return on our investment in the promotional aspect of it. And our product is just as good and better than many other countries or islands around here. And I do believe that part of our challenge over the years would have been the access to the island of Nevis. Indeed, you can get to Nevis, but you can get to Nevis through various neighboring islands, whether it's St. Kitts or St. Martin or Antigua. And so the direct service that we are seeking to attract out of Miami, or even, well, let's call it the West Coast, because any destination or any point along the East Coast will be easily accessible to Nevis.
absolutely, absolutely.
And of course other parts of the United States and parts of Europe, for
Yeah.
example, because
Yeah.
those business jets that we
Yeah.
see flying around, the global 7500, and now you have the 8000, so they are major jets that are being produced that can come out of Europe and some
Right.
parts of Asia into Nevis. And so it is anticipated that with this expansion, that would raise the profile of the island of Nevis and attract the investments
Right.
that this connection will provide for us. So I look at St. Vincent as a good example as to what can happen in a
Yeah.
short period of time
Right.
once the infrastructure is provided. And of course, we anticipate that persons are out there looking on. And while I say that, I see some new information that would have come up in recent times in terms of different journals and newspapers throughout the world that have picked up on this particular expansion project that we are about to embark on. And so, with all that's being said, with what is happening out there, we are being looked at, and whatever we intend to do is certainly anticipated by many countries and entities and agencies out there, and that is why I say
Absolutely.
it's a no-brainer. Anything else you would like to add?
Well,
on that?
Nevis is a jewel in terms of their people, their beaches, their service, and an airport is an engine.
Right.
It's an engine that drags the development after it. And if you are able to reach the right markets, and you are able to provide service at that level, no doubt, there is no doubt, it didn't happen anywhere that it didn't work.
Right.
It will work, and it will drag all the development that the island deserves, and the development that you can control. And I've seen all the plans, and I've seen everything, and we did a very careful environmental assessment. So during construction and after construction, when it's operating, the airport have all the mitigation measures that are required to preserve the Nevis environment, which is precious. I mean, this is priceless for the island.
Yeah, and of course, in terms of the duration of this particular project, once it gets started, we're anticipating.
Yeah, the airport is a complex construction because it requires a lot of coordination on site, and
Right.
We pretend to have the airport open during construction as much as we can.
Right.
Sometimes you have to close the operations because of the movement of the equipment, but we are used to do that work with the airport authorities. So we think that regarding the volume, and it always will depend, of the capacity of the construction and what the contractors are able to mobilize.
And weather.
The weather, if we went, we think that between 18 to 25 months will be the schedule for completion. Yeah.
Okay, good. And so we're looking at also one has to keep in mind shipping, supply,
Absolutely,
trade
yes.
issues.
Yes.
Because of course, as you look throughout the aviation industry and other areas, it seems like supply chain issues have impacted even
Yes.
the construction of aircraft.
No, yeah.
And even the construction of this airport. Most of the things, the items, apart from the earthwork that would be needed for fill material and that type of thing, most of the stuff that you'll need would have to be imported.
You have to import it, yes.
So all that will have to be considered. But I just want to touch quickly because persons might be wondering, well, why haven't we started as yet? Indeed, there were issues pertaining to the acquisition of lands. We have secured the mortgage or the loan that is required to pay the landowners, and indeed all of the memorandum of transfers have been passed on to those who will be impacted first and foremost, and I believe in short order, and when I say short order, within weeks, we should be in a position to pay the most important people to get started, those to the east and most to the south of the airport. And so those memorandum of transfers are with the landowners or their agent or lawyers who should be vetting those documents at this point in time. But at least we are at the point where we're ready for a drawdown to start paying persons. Once we have those lands in our possession and all the financing arrangements are complete, then we are ready to go. Persons will ask the question, well, when do you expect to start? I wish I can say we are ready to start tomorrow.
We are ready. We are ready.
But we are ready because at the start of the conversation, you did say that there are certain components of the project where the designs are complete.
Right.
And I will say that we have answered the questions that were raised by the planning department, and those documents were returned to the Department of Physical Planning and Environment, and we are waiting their response, and then of course the next step they will be providing them with the necessary technical drawings and so forth as we go along. And you have handled major projects throughout the world, and you will say that one don't have to produce the entire project in terms of all of the technical drawings.
No. We stage it.
Stages,
we stage it, and some of the things we fast track them.
Right.
Meaning that we go building and designing some areas that we need to accelerate.
Right.
So we've done all kinds of projects in that way, and they work.
Yeah. So whatever work elsewhere, we're anticipating that we'll use a particular template here to get the project moving and flowing as it should. Well, Dan, we have just a minute or two left on the program, but before I come back to you, let me just quickly put in a quick plug for this event on Sunday afternoon up there at the Fountain Trinity Methodist Church, where they'll have a church service at 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon up there at Fountain. One and all are invited to come and share in this celebration of the 40th anniversary of the Trinity Methodist Church. Just want to get that in. For those who would be viewing this program on YouTube or on Facebook at a later time, you can certainly be guided accordingly, and let's go out and support this event. And so, Dan, in wrapping up, I want to thank you for coming, of course, and indeed the whole of Nevis are anticipating this particular project to get started. It is one that will certainly be a game changer for the island of Nevis and improve the profile and notoriety of this island, because we are trying to move Nevis to the next level of its development, because Nevis cannot get any further than where we are if we don't have this particular
I don't
airport
think so.
facility
I think it's a
improved.
requirement.
It is a requirement, it is a must, and we'll proceed and press on in terms of getting the job done to make sure that we can have an infrastructure that we are proud of, and one that will provide jobs and revenue revenue stream for all those who are anticipating this project. Money is what we're looking for in this island, and when we say money, investments.
Right.
And this airport would be the catapult that we need to get that done. So I hear music in my ears, and when you hear that music,
No,
it
I
means that you
don't.
have
But
to pack up
anyways,
your bags and
thank you
go.
very much for having me. And as always, it's been more than 10 years that we've been Nevisians, and we're really proud, and we love to provide the best design and the best operational airport for Nevis.